All right, good evening everyone, and welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast, the hottest podcast in the Tri-County area of Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. Happy Hump Day to each and every last one of you out there in Facebook and YouTube land. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. It's a beautiful Wednesday evening here in sunny South Florida. Perfect place to be where it's always 80 degrees here in South Florida year-round.
And raining for the last 2 months now.
Absolutely.
Raining almost every day.
Absolutely. We just got off of a live podcast with Mr. Praveen Crescendio. He works for Primerica. If you missed the live interview, go back and watch the playback, and you can always go back and watch the playback. Thank you for everybody that joined us live on our broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you for the ones that set up the fake profiles on YouTube and hide, that don't want us to see them. But guess what? We know who you are anyway. So you can run, but you can't hide. Thank you for watching us, though. We appreciate it. Well, we got haters out there, too, but thank you. We really appreciate the love from our haters, too. We love everybody here on this podcast, and guess what? There's nothing you can do about it. So thank you for joining us here on the Adams Brothers Podcast. We're live here on Facebook and YouTube. So, Lord, this intro music.
They're good. That should be good, right? Yeah.
All right. So, we're live. We just got, like I said, we just got off with Praveen, and he educated me, on a living will. You got to have your will in place first, and then your trust. So everybody, you don't have a living will, go do it. Get it, put it in place, so people don't be fighting over your house and your car and your boat and your truck, your pickup truck, and your money in the bank and all of this and that.
Because it does happen.
It happens every single
to every family, in every family. So
everybody,
every ethnic group. So
don't care.
It does happen.
If it's an opportunity for them to get some money or some property or a car, they'll cut your throat to get it. So people, get your business in order. That includes me and everybody else. And my family. We don't ever think about
death and dying,
and the majority of our days are behind us. The most of our days are behind us. The least of our days are in front of us. And that's people that's my age, in their 50s and 60s and 70s, and so on and so forth. Yeah. The most of the days are behind us, and the least of the days are in front of us.
I always go back to the great Hall of Fame wide receiver Michael Irvin. If you go back and listen to his induction speech, I believe this was around 2011, 2012. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He had his mom and his family there, and he talks about his latter days. His mom used to tell him about the latter days. I always think about that. Ever since I heard that, I always talk about it. People like to call people old, this, you old YNs and old ninjas and this, but you just better
they better hope they get out
that you get to your latter days, which the Bible talks about.
And they good at out on my job too. I hear them saying that all the time. He old AF, this and that, and all. They good at calling people old,
Yeah.
I
hear it all the time. I see it all the time online.
You better hope and pray to God that you live to be that person's age who you're talking about. That people, when you're a certain age, you think you're gonna live forever, but
everyone thinks they're invincible.
Death
when they're
discriminate.
young.
Death doesn't care how old you are, how young you are. It will hit you when you at least expect it. It'll come knocking on your door.
I see people all online. I mean, like picking at. It's crazy out there. Online is crazy. That's why I come on Facebook limited as I can. I see people all the time on Facebook, talking about a person, how they look. They look old. They picking at them about certain ailments that they have. That's despicable. Whoever does that, that's a despicable thing. But it's where we are in 2025.
Yeah, and and speaking of elderly, I was at work today, and my partner and we were at one of our assigned stations that we were working at, doing some preventive maintenance, and we were there. It was around 11 a.m. Around 11 a.m. And we had our backs turned, and then we hear this lady's voice. And she was walking down the sidewalk, and she was saying something, and I couldn't understand what she was saying. And my partner looked at me, and she had her hand on the gate. She had one hand on the gate, and she was holding herself up, and she had on a sweater, and it's like 80 degrees. And she was an elderly woman. We didn't know how old she was, but I was guessing maybe 75. But she didn't speak any English. And she was asking us in Spanish to help her home. And she was all discombobulated, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't speak Spanish. We were trying to use our translators on our phone. We even called some co-workers. Hey man, ask her where she's trying to go. And she had a bag in her hand, and she had some food in a plastic shopping bag, a banana and a sandwich and everything. And she told our co-worker who spoke Spanish, and she said she's trying to go to her grandson's school to take him lunch. But mind you, this lady's like at what we thought was maybe 75 years old. And she could just barely walk. I guess she had walked from her house and thought she could make it to wherever she was going. Obviously, I'm not a medical doctor, but I thought maybe she has dementia. I hope she doesn't, but I'm not a medical doctor. I'm only guessing, So we didn't know what to do. So I said, hey, let's call the non-emergency number. So I did. I picked the phone up and I called the non-emergency number. And I was telling the dispatchers and the call takers, hey, this is what we have. Elderly lady. She can't tell us her name. She doesn't speak English. And the lady took our names and everything and the address where we were. And literally by the time we hung up the phone, there was a police officer pulling up that kind of spoke a little Spanish, a little bit. And he spoke to the lady, and she couldn't tell him where she was trying to go either. She was just saying, I'm trying to go take my grandson some food. And by that time, the fire rescue trucks were pulling up, and the captain and the paramedics got out and everything, and they start, taking care of her and everything. And they took her sweater off because she had a sweater on. It was hot. So I heard the captain said, check her sugar. So they pricked her finger, and her sugar was normal. But they couldn't she couldn't tell them her name or anything. So finally they start going in the pockets, the sweater. They took the sweater off of her to try to keep her cool. We had her sitting in a chair that we keep on our truck. So like if we're somewhere under a tree, on our break, we would just sit under the tree and have our fruits and veggies and then we'll put the chair back in the truck, and then we'll go on to our next job. But anyway, we let her sit in the chair, and then when they start looking at everything, they noticed that she had a hospital band on her arm, and they were like, "Oh, now we're getting somewhere." And it said her name on there, and it had her date of birth on there. She was 89 years of age. I thought she was 75.
She looked young.
And she was 89 years of age. So they wrote her name down, and they ran her name through NCIC and FCIC, the police databases. Those are police databases. But they couldn't come up with the name. She wasn't nowhere in the system. So they start saying, obviously she had been to a hospital locally somewhere, and they don't have access to that information. So law enforcement, they can call any hospital. They could call any hospital, and they could ask the hospital to put the name and the date of birth and everything, and then they could get an address and a phone number for this patient. And that's what they did. And they found out who she was. They didn't tell us, of course, but they thanked us for assisting her. And it kind of shook me up a little bit. I was a little shaken up after that. I really didn't have an appetite after that, because here's a 89 year young 89 years young lady that was clearly needing some help. She was in distress. We don't know. I mean, clearly she was showing signs of dementia. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. I can't say she has dementia or Alzheimer's. I pray that she doesn't. But just from seeing people that I know and some family that I know had dementia, it was showing signs of that. But the paramedics took good care of her, and hopefully she has made it back home safe to her family. And that was my good deed for today. But I wanted to share that with you, man. And we're talking about these young people, always talking about getting old. Old people, they old, and they getting too old. They don't know what they're talking about. They're crazy. And these people, these youngsters in their 30s, and 20s, they good at calling people their moms and dad. My mom and dad, they just old. They good at saying that. Well, all I can say is you better just hope and pray that you can get to be your mother and father's age, and you can get to be that lady that we assisted today, the age of 89. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, we used to have respect.
I wanted to share that.
We used to have respect for our elderly. Our elderly in the past was cherished. I mean, it's totally different now. I mean, what you see like I say, you see people all online. I mean, I'm talking about, these are no kids. I'm talking about these people in their mid 40s, picking at people with lupus or I mean, I see it. I'm like, this is unbelievable. It's wild on social media. Yeah. You get on some of these social media sites, it is totally outrageous on there. Yeah. But that's the liberties that we have, free speech, and those the things we enjoy.
Yeah.
Our free speech. But everywhere, like they always say, it could be consequences to a lot of that free speech. So people just always have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, that was my good deed for today. So we assisted a lady that was clearly in distress, and we helped her out, and hopefully she's back home safe with her family. So that's a good thing. So what else we have going on?
Well, we had a city commission meeting last night. Where the Broward Sheriff Office was brought up again. I mean, you just have to go back and look. I mean, is kind of depressing looking at it now. I mean, it is. It is. I mean, just going back to your police department. That's what you're gonna do anyway. So
you think it's I mean, clearly you can see that it's
a done deal.
I mean, I know they were saying last night, people are saying that they're gonna do this, and they're saying that they haven't made up their minds, but people think otherwise.
Yeah, well, you could see
by the body language and the facial expressions, during the commission meetings, and it looks like it's a 3-2 vote from what everybody is saying. With the mayor, Commissioner Hudak and Plout, and I think with the other two, Vice Mayor and District 3 Shinesky.
Yeah,
I'm thinking they are wanting to probably stay with.
Well, take a harder look. They're I think reasonable individuals looking at it that maybe that might be something they can do down the road. But it seems like to me and other people that it's kind of being rushed. And just last night, Commissioner Hudak, Mr. Nolan Thomas came up and he spoke about the deplorable conditions at the fire department, where he said men and women are sleeping in the same room together. They don't have separate sleeping areas. And he was just saying the areas was deplorable. I mean, that's probably not the word that he said, but even Vice Mayor Preston seconded or kind of gave, credence to what he was saying. So, and then District 1 Commissioner Hudak proposed a bond. I mean, and that seems to be very rushed too. On the March 2026 ballot of about $100 million. Now we're talking $100 million bond, and we're talking about police department. You're talking about debt. I mean, you're talking about getting the police department. You're talking about massive debt that could be for in the years to come. I mean, we're at October, and we're talking about putting a bond on, which in the past, I didn't really have a problem with a bond to get police fire departments, new police fire. But now we're talking about taking on our own or regional, something of that nature, which we know it's going to cost money. And I just think we need to just, even the mayor, Drosky, warned him that if you push this through so quick, it's going to get defeated. Because, I mean, even me who was thinking about voting for it, I have to take a hard look back, because you're talking about what he was saying, like $20 million each building or something of that nature. Don't quote me on
at least
$20 million to get a new structure. And then you're talking about the police department debt coming in and things to come. You're talking about massive debt for the taxpayers. And I just see so many people have invested themselves in it. They're at the meeting, they want to be seen, and they better put a halt to it. And Vice Mayor Preston and Commissioner Shinesky kind of said that just take a step back and let's get some more time. The sheriff did offer this, and the other commissioners, they put it up. Vice Mayor Preston made a motion. Commissioner Shinesky seconded. It went for a vote to go past the 2 years and just give us time to take a look at everything. And it was
voted down.
It was voted right down quickly.
Well, Vice Mayor Ben Preston proposed that give him a 2-year extension contract. Well, the first year BSO has a blank check, basically, and I don't like that idea.
And I understand what they were saying.
I don't like that idea at all. With you just giving somebody a blank check, and he could just say, "Okay,
that's what Hudak was saying."
I don't like that.
No.
Okay, that blank check for the first year, I don't like it. The second year, okay, I can agree. Say, okay,
something they said.
Yeah, it was 7%. So, okay, 7%. You could say, okay, well, yeah, we had a prior contract. The previous contract was 5%. So now we need more. We need 7 or 8%. Okay, now I can understand that, because we know that public safety is going up. But I don't agree with giving anybody a blank check. I don't care who you are. Okay. No, that's a big N-O. I don't believe in giving anybody a blank check. Okay. That's just my opinion. And I think, this is my opinion, I think we should follow Pompano. Pompano took a 1-year extension. So Pompano was the first one to say, okay, let's go do this study. Pompano took the lead on that. Deerfield followed. So I say, let's take the lead with Pompano again, sign another year contract with BSO. And then you got more time plus the transition period to to take a hard look at, because this is going to cost some money. Okay, again, we don't want them to go back to the police department and then say, oh, well, these were unforeseen charges, and I mean, not charges, but costs that we didn't anticipate. So we're going to have to go up on your millage, and you're going to have to go up on your fire assessment fee and max that out. We don't want that. Okay, we don't want that. And nobody can sit here and convince me that is not going to happen. I just don't believe it. I don't care how many numbers you show me. I just won't believe it. Okay, I'm a number. I like to look at the numbers, and there's going to be some unforeseen things that happen. There's going to be some accidents and some lawsuits and this and that. All of that has to be accounted for.
And that's what Commissioner Shinesky was emphasizing last night, which,
where are they going to get the money from? We only got 38 million?
37, and that's what they were saying. You're going to deplete that if a lawsuit comes. So I don't think people looking at that, they have gotten so emotionally charged with what the sheriff said and logic, when the old saying about when emotions are high, logic is low. So I mean, everybody else have an opinion, so we have an opinion. I have an opinion. This is my opinion. I live here, so it is what it is. This just my thought. I mean, I'm not up there sitting on the dais. If I was sitting up there, I would say the same thing that I'm saying now. But it's clearly obvious that they're not going back with the sheriff department. And then they even said last night that the sheriff department wasn't, showing up to certain things anymore. It's bad that the relationship has came to this. I still thought that we could overcome it, because we every day we telling people, the kids, to talk and do this and do that, and then the adults do totally different than what they're saying to the kids out there every day. So that's why that's why everything is contradictory. So that's why the kids look at the adults. They're telling us to do this, and they're not practicing what they preach. So I still thought that we could have gotten past this, but it's clear. I mean, one gentleman spoke online last night, and he says, quit playing, just go on and do what you're gonna do. And I agree. I mean, that's why I didn't get myself involved in all that emotions of it, and that's why I keep telling people, don't get yourself emotionally involved in this, because when people got their mind made up what they're gonna do, that's what they're gonna do. And if it's one thing I know about politics in this and every other city, when the politicians got their mind made up, I don't care nothing. They'll sit up there and they'll say, and anywhere else they'll say, oh, well, my mind is open. Well, whatever. That's good theater. And if that's what you believe what your mind is already made up, what you can do. And again, not saying that somewhere down the road, because I mean, a good analogy is renting and buying. Which is better, to rent or buy? Of course, it's always better to buy. And maybe down the line, that might be something that they want to look at. But if anyone thinks that they're going to bring that regional or police department, and I would probably say if they do go back, go regional, so all the costs won't incur on the Deerfield Beach residents. I would say that more than bringing our own police department under our umbrella, because we know it didn't work the first time, and it's not going to work this time, because 20 years from now, when everyone else, hopefully everyone is still here or whatever, 20 years from now, they'll be talking about going back again. Okay, and at least the younger people hopefully they'll have a more open mind than the adults now.
And plus, my thing is, this is just me. I think if you're going to do that, if you're going to go back to the Deerfield Beach Police Department and the Deerfield Beach Fire Department, why don't you just do one at a time?
Yeah.
Why don't you just do police this year and go back with fire services with BSO and get that going? And then once you get that going, you can take a look at the fire department, like Pompano. Pompano retained their own fire department.
They never gave it up.
And then they just contracted police services with BSO. So they just did 1 and 1. They kept her on, and then they contracted the other out.
But everyone left for a reason, though.
Right, everyone left for a reason. So what I'm saying is, I don't see how you can afford to do both. I think you could probably do one and get away with it. So again, if you're going to do that, bring it back to police, okay, or bring back the fire, but do it one at a time, and then see what the costs are, and you won't get hit with this big astronomical tax increase, which everybody is saying it's gonna. I just don't see it. I want to say Deerfield, you can do it, but I look at Boca, and I look at Coconut Creek, and I look at Margate, and I look at Coral Springs, and I look at Lighthouse Point and Hillsborough and Delray Beach, and I look at all these other cities. They're doing it.
Yeah,
they have their own police and fire. They're doing it,
but they never gave it up, though.
They never gave it up, but they
I mean, what that was, Lauderhill gave it up, and then they took it back.
Went back.
So we know it can be done.
It can be done, and Lauderhill is doing a pretty good job. They got a lot of crime, a lot of shooters down there. But
well, there you have it.
Yeah,
yeah, that was one of the reasons why when we gave it up back in 90, what it was, a lot of crime.
Yeah, but that's because every time you went by the police station up there, all of the cars, everybody was sitting in the police station.
What do you think going to happen here at some point?
Nah. Okay? We're going to be raised in hell if that happens.
At some point, when everything is said and done, and every politician up there out of office, the same thing probably going to come back. History sometimes can sometimes repeat itself, but again, we left for a reason. And
we were getting robbed like on an average of every week here. People coming from other cities, jumping out with guns, and then just stay as long as they want and have a drink, and then drive off real slow, and the police still there. You called them, they hadn't gotten there yet. So people got tired, and people start arming themselves, and then this is gonna escalate. Now people are gonna start fighting back, and some people are gonna die because they're getting tired. The police aren't protecting them. We don't want all that to happen. We don't want history to repeat itself.
But it doesn't matter whoever police us, as I said in our last podcast last week.
Serica too. Serica said it.
Whoever police us, nothing's gonna change. Not too much is going to change. I'm not going to say nothing's going to change, but we're still going to be racially profiled. We're still going to have the same policing problems that everyone else have, that the sheriff department currently have right now, and most other cities have. It's just now the punishment is going to be left up to most likely the city manager, but nothing is gonna change as far as policing. We're still gonna, as people always say, we're over policing. I mean, that's a fact. Throughout the country, we are over policed in a lot of areas. And not saying a lot of areas are not warranted or need that type of over policing. Yes, a lot of areas need over policing. That's not the heavy-handed over policing, but that's why I say it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I think we have a good partnership now with the sheriff. I want it to stay, but if we go back, it's not gonna change my life. I mean, it's not. That's why, again, we just coming off a very contentious election back in March. Now you got everybody right back at everyone's throat again, and everybody keeps saying, well, the sheriff started it. Doesn't matter who started it, man. If you're gonna go back, go on and get it over with, and go and do what you're gonna do, and let's try to get this city back on one accord.
One at a time.
All the other projects that we were talking about prior to this, you don't hear nothing about Dixie. You don't hear nothing about Dixie redevelopment. You don't hear nothing about Pioneer Grove. You don't hear nothing. All thing people up there to that commission meeting is all they want to do is talk about BSO and get up there and
all of that is on the back burner, like you said. I haven't heard much about Pioneer Grove. I haven't heard much about an amphitheater. I haven't heard much about.
And we were doing good at first.
Yeah, we were doing really good. I mean, all those meetings we had out at the park out there, we haven't heard much about them. The Dixie Highway Corridor, it's on the back burner now because BSO and public safety is at the forefront. Yeah, and we understand that's important. We are, and again, I have to say, with BSO here, I haven't been me personally, I haven't been profiled or harassed or anything. I've been pulled over. You know, they stopped me a few times, and I'm like, you know, I wasn't speeding. I always had on my seat belts and everything. And, you know, just because the type of car that I drive, it looks like a younger person's car. I guess they think, you know, I'm some young guy. So when they pull me over and I roll my windows down and they see, oh, this is a clean cut guy here, you know, so they kind of, just, you know, we pulled you over for this reason here because my car has dark tinted windows on it. Okay. And I have a state of Florida valid sunscreen medical exemption. So I can have my windows as dark as I want. So when they see my car, they like, who's this car riding through with these dark tinted windows? But I am 100% legal. Everything I do it legally. Okay. So when they pull me over, you know, I have on my seatbelt. I don't speed. I don't drink and drive and all of this stuff. I don't do none of that stuff. But again, you know, I get pulled over from time to time. You know, they see the dark windows and they, oh, this is a type of car a young person drive who may be involved in some illegal activity. And then they see me in there, this little handsome bald head black guy in the car, and they like, you know, okay, well, we'll let him go, you know.
So I've been racially profiled by Deerfield Police, Broward Sheriff Office, and Florida Highway Patrol. So it doesn't matter.
Again, yeah, I've been pulled over, and I had some issues with BSO. Now, don't get me wrong. I think I told the story here one night. I heard some gunshots at my house, and this is a reason why one of the reasons why I wanted to get into podcasting, because I didn't want to send emails and call the news stations and the Sun Sentinel and the Miami Herald. I wanted to get on here and tell my own story. You know, I've been, you know, again, like I heard some gunshots one night about 3 a.m. Heard about 15 or 16 gunshots, rapid fire. So me being the good citizen that I am, I picked up the phone and I called 911, and I made it very crystal clear that I did not want them to use my name or address. I requested to be my name, that I be anonymous. I requested anonymity, and I didn't get that. I'd say the shots didn't come from my street. I didn't see any vehicles. I didn't see any cars come by. I didn't see nothing. I told the car taker, I said, I didn't see anything. So please don't have them come to my house. I said, it was blocks away from me. I said, it was north of me, maybe 3-4 blocks away. I said, I can't give you an address. I don't know no suspects. I told them, I was very crystal clear with them. I said, I have not seen anything. So I gave them all that information. I'm laying there and in my bed, and I'm laying there trying to go back to sleep, and I see lights shining through my bedroom window. I'm like, what's going on? I look out the window. It's like 4 or 5 carloads of BSO cops at my house. So I pulled the window back, and I kind of peeked out of the curtain, and I tapped on the window, and I said, hello, can I help you? And the guy, the BSO officer, put his hand on his gun and drew it and ordered me out of the house. Put his hand on it. No, I take that back. He didn't pull it out. He put his hand on his gun and started yelling to come out of the house. Come out of the house. Come out of the house. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So I put on the shirt and everything. I had shorts. I tucked my shirt in so they could see I didn't have no weapons on me or nothing like that. And I was like, you know, now I'm kind of pissed because I'd already asked them not to come to my house. And I go outside and they were talking to me, raising their voice, you know. I'm like, why did you come to my house? I told the call taker I didn't want you to come to my house. Well, when we can't find out where it is and this and that, blah, 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 that we come to the house, you know. It could have been an emergency here. I said, no. That's not what I told the call taker. I was very crystal clear what I told the call taker. And they had a nasty attitude with me. Oh, just go back in the house, you know.
So do you think that's
I didn't like
that's
that.
going to change if other policemen come in here? Do you think that's going to change?
I don't.
Do you
no,
think
it's
that
not
type of
gonna change.
attitude? I'm saying,
No, that's
not
the attitude is going to remain the same. Okay, it's not going to change. And I was very nice and polite to them, you know. And I got pissed, and I emailed Sheriff Tony. And Sheriff Tony, he did get back with me. This was before he even knew. This was before we even started podcasting. The sheriff didn't even know me from the next man here in this county. So he set up a meeting with Colonel David Holmes. At the time, it was Rodney Brimlow, our city manager. He was the chief here in District 10. Current chief Adam Hoffstein, and myself and Vice Mayor Ben Preston. And we sat there and we hashed it out, and they looked at the video and everything, and they this and that. Yeah, you're right. You know, you did request that they didn't come. You were absolutely right. But that's one of the things that we do. But my point is, when you call 911 and you request to remain anonymous, and they still come to your house, that's concerning, you know. What if the people that was in the area that's shooting had seen the cops come to my house and talk to me, and then shortly after that pull him over? You know, it makes it look like I snitched, you know. That could put my life into danger. That was my point I was trying to get across to them. Anyways, that's one of the issues I had with BSO. So I haven't had that many. That was the only, I think, the major
with BSO.
One. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, that's what I'm saying.
But it hasn't been a whole lot, you know. That was
it
my
wasn't
story.
Nothing we couldn't get past.
Yeah, right.
You
exactly.
know, and they did a lot of things. They did a lot of things back in the days.
They corrected it.
Yeah. So, but it was always whatever. Even always, we were able to get past everything, and you know.
Yeah, we were able to get past it, but again, fast forward to Deerfield Beach, man. I don't. It looks like that's what they want to do, and they can sit there and they can say that that's not. They're still open to it. Hopefully, they are. My suggestion is, Mayor Drosky, Commissioner Hudak, Vice Mayor Preston, Commissioner Shinesky, and Plout, Commissioner Plout, and the city manager, city attorney, everybody. Just bring one back at a time, okay? Bring the police back if that's what you're going to do, and then bring the fire department back up. Bring the fire, then the police, or just while you bring the fire department back, and then look at going regional with another police department. Do something. But I don't think we can afford, like Vice Mayor Preston said, that now is not the time, and that's just my personal opinion. Nobody has to agree with me. This is my own Darrell Adams personal opinion. That's my
people want to get mad because you have an opinion. I mean, come on.
Well, you know, we don't care about what people think.
Again,
this is our opinion. We are entitled.
We
to
taxpayers too.
Yeah,
been here longer than most people. That's everybody said. I've been here longer than everybody sitting up there on that dais. I'm not as old as them, but I've been here longer than them. So. And also, while they're going to be having meetings about this, you are invited. It says, join us for upcoming community forums where you share your thoughts on the future of police and fire service in Deerfield Beach. This is your chance to be informed and be heard. Learn about public safety options, ask questions, and provide input. Help shape the future of public safety in our community. That sounds just like they're already back there, but the meeting dates are Thursday, November 13th. And this meeting here it's going to be two meetings. One is going to be at 11 a.m. and one is going to be at 7 p.m. And this is going to be at the West Deerfield Beach Community Center. And that's going to be, looks like 580 Powerline Road, Deerfield Beach, Florida. And that again is Thursday, November 13th, 2025. The second meeting is going to be Saturday, November 15th, 2025. And that's going to be at the City Hall Commission Chambers. And that's going to be at, of course, we know the address there, 150 Northeast 2nd Avenue. And that is only going to be one meeting, and that's going to be 11 a.m. at the City Hall Commission Chambers, and that's going to be Saturday, November 15, 2025. Then that Monday, November 17th, 2025, this meeting here is going to be 2 meetings at the Johnny Tigner Center. One meeting is going to be the first meeting is going to be at 11 a.m. The second meeting is going to be at 7 p.m. that same day at the Johnny Tigner Center. So it's going to be 5 meetings total from what I see here. 5 meetings total. So that's going to be one Thursday, November 13th, one Saturday, November 15th, and the next one is going to be Monday, November 17th. So you will be able to give your input. Your community voice will be heard. So
that's after Veterans Day.
Yes. So, you can govern yourself accordingly.
Please, everybody, write down all your questions. Start writing those questions down now. Don't wait until the last moment. And from what I'm hearing last night, from the commission meeting, that they said they don't think that the numbers will be back by then. So you're having a meeting and you're meeting with people, but we can't ask specific questions because the numbers aren't there. Did you hear that as well? Because that's what I heard them say, that they don't know if the numbers will be
back
by then, but we're already holding meetings. But it's difficult to have a meeting when the numbers aren't in front of us. We can't ask specific. We can ask specific questions, but we won't get specific answers without the numbers.
Well, they got it figured out. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
Right.
I guess we'll have to wait and see if everything came back. They had a presentation last night from the public safety director on the whatever the cost, 20-year cost with BSO, if BSO would stay. So, hey.
20-year cost. I mean,
20 years, whatever. I'm just saying.
Why would one want?
Well, they did. Well, that's a good thing to do. I mean, a study
Maybe
on
10
it.
years.
I'm just saying 20. I don't hold me to that. I'm just saying they did a study on the projection cost of BSO was to say.
That's a good thing.
Yes, you need that. And now, like I say, the cost is if they city go regional, or if they go back to the Deerfield Police. I told you I would prefer regional, and that'll help. Everybody will absorb some of the cost of everything. That might be the better way. But again, it's going to all come down to control. Everybody wants control, and everybody keeps saying they don't. It's not about control. It's about control. Control, when you say control, it's about controlling the finances. So that's control. So, you keep hearing saying it's not about control, but it's all about control. And maybe that might not be a bad thing, but we'll just have to see. I'm no financial expert, don't claim to be, but I just don't have a good
You can add and subtract though, right?
Yeah, and I can count too. I can count how many. I can count the votes up there too. So whether people say they have an open mind or not, I can count the votes. But hopefully whatever way the information comes back, whether it's for or against going regional or Deerfield or staying with BSO, I just hope they make the best decision with the interest of the future of the future, because don't just, again, people keep saying they can save money in 2 to 3 years. Everybody tell you that. What president or whatever governor has got in office and couldn't say they couldn't do better than the other party, then they get in there and 2, 3, 4 years later, everything is high. Everyone, it's like I said here 2 weeks ago, when you meet, you're gonna heard these cliches about we trying to repair a marriage and put a marriage back together. Well, I'm gonna give this comparison. Whenever a man meets a woman, he puts his best foot forward to try to please her, to show that he is worthy, impress her, to show that he is worthy of being with her. So it's no different now. I'm looking at my opinion that everyone's gonna have savings and show savings. But what about when that 8th, 9th, or 10th year get here? But a lot of times in politicians' mind, they be like, well, I won't be here in office no more, so that'll be the next person's problem. I'll just kick that can on down the road and let them worry about it. But people like us, we're not going nowhere. We're here. So that is what concerns me more than anything. Like I say, life's gonna go on. I mean, I'm not arguing with no one in no commission chambers, nowhere. I'm not arguing with no one. As long as you respect me, respect my opinion. I respect everyone's opinion, but I wouldn't call no one names because that's what I'm seeing is coming to now. I mean, if you go back and look at the meeting last night, you saw accusations, but it was also apologies, but it was accusations, and and I've been saying I saw it. I've been seeing this going where we are right now, but hey, it is what it is. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this podcast and enjoyed the one prior to that. Everyone,
we'll be back again tomorrow.
Tomorrow with our guardianship podcast. Tomorrow, come back and join us. That's going to be very good on guardianship, and we're gonna have a panel tomorrow, and they're going to be showing actual cases of abuse and fraud and scams of guardianship right here in Broward County. So everyone definitely would want to stay tuned to our podcast. Continue to follow the Adams Brothers podcast, Adams Brothers Media. We got some exciting things coming. We got some exciting guests coming here in the future. Continue to rock with us, everyone, and just stay with us. I mean, I still believe the future is bright here in Deerfield Beach once we get past everything. The sky's the limit here. I love this city here. Love everything about it. And also, too, next week, if any of the classes at Deerfield want to come on and talk about their class, hit us up. Our
phone number is down at the bottom of the chat down there.
And our email is Adams Brothers Pod, Adams Brothers POD @gmail.com. Come on and talk about it. I know class where everyone's going to be at the high school next week for the alumni. I know Calvin McCoy said he wanted him and some more of the people who put our class together. The group that they want to come on, they are more than welcome. If anyone's watching, the class 84 and any other class that want to come on and briefly talk about the festivities next week, you're more than welcome. We always say we're here for the community, and that's the way it's going to continue to be. We're going to be here for the community. So if any other classes want to come on next week and talk, you're welcome again. Most people know our numbers, know how to get in touch with us.
All right. Anything else before I wrap it up?
I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? Any events going on? I know I want to say condolences to my cousins, Sharon Moore, Lizzie Moore, and Terry Moore. They lost
and
Marvin. That's right. They lost their mom, Aunt Lily Mae. We lost her. So yes, condolences to our family. To Sharon Moore, Elizabeth Moore, and Terry Moore, and Marvin.
Marvin.
Yes.
So, condolences goes out to our family, man. We lost another family member, but like I just said earlier, the most of our days are behind us. The least of our days are in front of us. So let's treat people right, love people, man, and love on one another and support one another, because we're here for a good time and not a long time. We're all headed in the same direction, and sooner or later, one of these days, death is going to come knocking.
Stay kind to
at
people.
Your door, and we're going to leave here whether you want to or not. So treat people good and try to do good and make this world a better place and leave it in better shape than what we found it when we were born into this world.
And one thing too that the late Teddy Pendergrass Remember in his song, Be For Real, he always said in his song, the Teddy Pendergrass said, the same people you meet going up, you meet the same old faces coming down. Always remember that. Be humble.
Thank you all for rocking with the Adams Brothers. We really love and appreciate each and every last one of you for rocking with us since 2020, going on 6 years next year in March. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be right here, and we are not going nowhere.
On us back tomorrow.
We'll be back here tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. with our podcast from Guardianship. Join us, tune in, and chime in, and it'll be very interesting and educational. Thank you all for rocking with Dwayne and Daryl, the Adams Brothers. We will see you all here tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. sharp. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your night.